Welcome back to Your Average Investor, the channel that looks at my journey through investment, budgeting and finance. In today's video, we're going to take a look at budgeting and the importance of it each month. The term budgeting has quite a lot of negative connotations, and this is because people find them restrictive, people don't like talking about money, and quite often if people are in a bad situation financially, they don't want to look ahead to see quite how bad the situation is. Some people use spreadsheets or pen and paper to budget, but I think nowadays using an app is the best way to do it, as you can use it on the go. The app YNAB has really helped me keep track of my own finances and budget a certain amount for certain things each month. By doing this, I can give every penny that I earn a certain job, so I know exactly where it's going and I know exactly where I'm at. This allows me the freedom to initially budget money for investment before budgeting all of my other expenses each month, and then knowing at the beginning of that month how much money I have in surplus, which I can then also further invest. This is one of the ways that I've really been able to springboard my investment and keep track of my finances. So without further ado, let's hop into the app and have a look what YNAB is and if it's something that can help you out as well.
Here we are inside the YNAB app for iPad. You can also access the app via an iPhone, an Android phone, and also use the desktop site as well. For the purpose of this video, I've set up an example budget just so you can see how the app works, and then towards the end of the video I'll show you how I've been using it over the last few months. Like I've said, this app's really helped me to budget my money in the last 6 to 8 months, and while it's a massive product in America, it's not so commonly used in the UK, with people more often using Plum or Yolt. The way the app works is by making you budget every single penny that you earn, so you're essentially giving all of your money a specific job, so there's not money just kind of floating around loosely. You do this by apportioning money to each of the individual categories which you can alter and set up yourself at the beginning of the month, and then throughout the month as you spend money you add transactions to your account and it takes money out of the designated pot. The easiest way to get an understanding of how the app really works and how useful it could be to you is to show you an example. So what I'll do is I'll show you how to set up an account, how to then budget your money, and then how to then add transactions and see that money coming out of each of the categories which you've assigned money to. We'll then hop onto my account and see how I've been using it recently as well, and from that hopefully you'll get an understanding of it, if it's something that will help you and if it's something that's worth you looking into for the future. By tapping the accounts toggle at the bottom, here you can see all the different accounts which you have linked to your app. You can set up a range of different accounts, from current accounts, savings, cash accounts for all the money you've got in your purse or your wallet, credit cards, investments, and then kind of mortgages and liabilities as well. When you get paid, you have to add this to the app. You simply do this by tapping transactions and then inputting the amount that you got paid. For the purpose of this example, we'll put $1,500 just because it's a nice round number. You'll notice that you can input payee details, for example job, Tesco's, or wherever you've spent or earned that money. The category that you want the money to go to initially is to be budgeted, because that allows you then to siphon it off into individual pots. Once you've saved the transaction, you'll be able to see that the money has now inflowed into your account. It's now time to budget this money and decide how you're going to apportion it for the month ahead. Back into the budget section, you can see that now at the top of the app we've got £1,500 to be budgeted. When you start off using the app, it gives you some examples of potential categories you might want to use. You can edit these, add them and delete them to suit your own life. All that's left to do now then is to budget this money into the select categories that we want. For example, if we know that our rent for the month is going to be £500, we simply type in 500, tick that, and you see that £500 has been assigned to this category, which has been deducted from the To Be Budgeted tab at the top. You can continue to do this for each of the categories which you need to for the month ahead. By using this stepped process, it also allows you to pay yourself first, by allocating money to your investments before you've actually started the month. As you can see in this example, we've paid all of our immediate obligations to start with, and now we can consider how much we want to invest. For this example, I'm just going to put £100 in. And then you can complete this process for all of the categories available. Once you've then finished allocating all of your money for the month ahead, you'll see what you have left over as surplus, in this example £65. You could put it into a savings account, you could budget it for the next month, so you could move through to July and budget in the next month, or equally you could add extra money to your investments. Now you can see that all the money has been spent and there's nothing left in the to be budgeted section. Now this budgeting app isn't meant to be restrictive to your lifestyle. It's meant to be planning ahead and considering what you've got coming up for the month. If you know you're going out for a few meals with friends, then budget the money for it. If you know that you've got birthdays coming up, then budget the money for it. What it really helps you to do is to keep track of all those little spends that you make throughout the week. So now let's consider the first bill of the month is coming out, and it's our electric bill. The way we'd add this is by tapping transaction at the bottom, making sure that the amount is coloured in red and not green, as this is a deduction from the pot. I've set the payee up as electric or whatever electric company you're currently with. And the category I want that money to come out of is electric. So you can see how it links through quite nicely there. It's obviously coming out of my current account as that's where all my money is. And the amount that came out this month was £75. Once you're happy that you've input everything correctly, you can tap Save Transaction. And what you'll notice is that the app takes the money out of that pot in front of your eyes. So you can now see that the available balance in the electric pot has gone from £80 down to £5. If that's the only electric bill you're paying this month, you can now decide whether to take that £5 out and assign it to something else, or allow that to roll over to begin paying your bill for the next month. Now let's have a look at what happens if a bill exceeds the amount that you've allocated to that pot. We'll pretend that the MOT for the month has cost a little bit more than we expected, so we'll input that transaction. And what we need to make sure now is that the category is assigned to auto maintenance. So we'll scroll down and find that one, and then tap Save Transaction. So what the app does is it notices that you've overspent the amount of money that you've allocated to that pot. It's telling you on the right hand side where it says minus £35, and it's also telling you at the very top of the app where it says overspend category, and it tells you how to change that. So if we tap overspend category at the top, it shows us that we've overspent £35 in auto maintenance. So we can correct that by tapping auto maintenance and then selecting where we want the money to come from. Now obviously you don't want to take it out of certain categories because you know your rent and mortgage has still got to come out. You know you've got to pay your transportation costs. But here in the stuff you forgot to budget for section, this is money which you've got kind of allocated for anything that crops up, which in this case is perfect. So we tap stuff I forgot to budget for. And what that does is it moves the money to cover the overspend. So you can see that the auto maintenance category is now on 0, whereas it was minus 35 before. And you can see that the amount that's budgeted in that section is £85, as we moved money across from stuff I forgot to budget for. I'll now input some transactions for the month and skip ahead to what we would do at the end of the month. As it's the end of the month now, we can decide what we want to do with the rest of this money. Because it's the end of the month and I'd be getting paid in a few days anyway, I'm going to take this money out of these categories and pay the bills from next month's money. So you can do this by tapping the amount you have left, so in this case £5, and then moving £5 back to the to be budgeted section. And you'll see how that's moved back across. You can do this for all of the categories that you don't want to roll over. So if this was me, I would then add this £104 to the investment section. So you'd tap plus 104, and then you'll see the £104 move through to my investments toggle. You could then go and invest that, put that through your transactions, and that money would then be used. If you decided not to reinvest that, or you had a loan or something that you were trying to pay down, for example, you could move that money into another section. For example, student or auto loan, if that was something that you had and you needed to pay off. This process will help you down pay things quicker, which means that you'll get out of any debt that you're in a lot quicker than you would do otherwise. So let's hop into my actual budget and see how it works in real terms. We're looking at last month so you can see how it works for the whole month. Over the time I've used this app, I've taken the opportunity to make my own individual categories so that I can better streamline my own finances. You can see that over last month I invested £802 across my stocks and shares ISA with Vanguard and my trading 212 account. This is made up from my initial investments and when I got paid from paying myself first, and then throughout the month for the little bits that were left in each of the pots which I then moved to my investment accounts. You can clearly see how this helps the total invested each month add up. By scrolling further through my budget, you can see the amount that I've budgeted for each category, the activity or the amount that I've spent from that pot, and then the amount that's left over as available. So you can see all the subscriptions that I've paid over the last month, along with all the money that I budgeted for entertainment and recreational activities, some of which I've carried over to the next month with tickets and hotels, because obviously we can't use that at the moment, but I know that in the future I will do. You can then see all the money that I've got allocated to kind of long-term and savings spending. For example, my emergency fund, things for the future like car repairs and MOTs, and savings for holidays, birthdays and Christmas.
As I've said, this app has helped me an immense amount, understand my finances and better budget for each month. Obviously budgeting can really help you keep track of your finances and plan for the month ahead, so there's no nasty surprises come the end of the month. But wouldn't it also be helpful if you could earn extra money tax and risk-free each month? If so, why don't you check out my video on match betting, where I make over £400 extra money tax-free each month. The software that I use is Profit Accumulator, and if you want to check that out in the link below, it gives you 14 days for just £1. And like I said, you can earn over £400 each month if you do this. Also, if you're considering stepping into the world of investing, or by budgeting your money more efficiently, you have extra money to go and invest, why don't you check out my Trading 212 link, which gives you a free share up to £100 when you sign up using my referral code. That's in the description below. If you found this video useful today, please like, comment and subscribe, as it will help to push this video out to more people who might then be able to manage their finances a little bit better as well. And with that said, I'll catch you in the next video.